My name is Mike Lassard. I'm the program director here at Home Resource. And welcome. We're going to be talking today about our workshops and FixIt Clinics. Jay Riley, our workshop coordinator, will be chatting through a lot of this stuff and introducing you to this really fun world. Home Resource, as you probably have all been here before or know about it, but well known for our reuse store, where we're able to divert well over 1 million pounds worth of material every year from the landfill. We do tons of programming, anywhere from youth education to paid internships for young people to workshops and sustainability events. And so we'll talk a little bit about those. MCAT is here, which is great to record the presentation by Missoula Community Access Television, part of a media assistance grant donated to Home Resource by MCAT, which is great, so we're able to share this out more broadly as well. Jay will come up and be able to chat a little bit more about workshops and FixIt Clinics and all those fun things that we do here. So thanks for being here. If you haven't had anything to eat as well, there's some soup and bread and drinks on the back table. Please help yourself.
Great, thanks, Mike.
Another thing we were going to discuss too is our revamp program, which I'll start with a little of that. And at some point we'll be joined by Paul, who's in charge of revamp, but revamp's a way that we rework materials and products that we get and resell them. So we either repair, like faucets or fans, or not repair, sorry, we test them, make sure they work before we sell them, or we test paint, and then we also Paul creates things like birdhouses, and these are very popular. These are smart canvases made from hollow core doors. So he fills in the sides and sands them and then resells them. This one retails for $25. So just wait. Hollow core doors are not something that people are typically interested in. So this is a way to not have them go to the landfill and instead recreate something that is useful to people. We also do FixIt Clinics, and I think a couple of people thought this was a FixIt Clinic, but it's not a FixIt Clinic. We'll be having a FixIt Clinic in December, and please feel free to sign up for our newsletter or check our website for details on that. FixIt Clinic, Bill is one of our coaches, has been a coach for, I think, years, before I got here even. Yeah, and the idea of the FixIt Clinic is to have coaches paired with participants, and the coach will walk the participant through how to repair an item. And it's not just, hey, bring that here and we'll repair it, but it's let's work together and learn how to repair this and, again, keep that out of the waste stream. And we're always looking for coaches as well, so if you have any skill like fixing lights, sewing, woodworking, metalwork, anything that might help repair, we're always looking for new coaches. And we're looking for participants as well. So look for that class or another one of those courses. A
good attitude is just as important as skills.
Yeah. Yeah, please feel free to add anything you want to that program.
So I moved here 6 years ago from Chicago, and I was involved in FixIt Clinics there. So when I moved out here, I was like, I wonder if there's a FixIt Clinic here. And so I found out, and I find it very enjoyable. And you meet some great people, and the cause is very worthy, keeping things out of the landfill, and I just have a tendency to like a year or two ago, a neighbor I see in the garbage can out in front of their house a vacuum cleaner. Pat, hey Pat, what's wrong with the vacuum cleaner? Oh, that was my daughter's. I don't know. I don't know. She's throwing it out. Doesn't work. Can I have it? Sure. Took it home. Just needed. It was clogged. That was all. And I unclogged it, and I did have to go. I found the right filter for it online, and I think I donated it to the women's health place up by the hospital that helps young mothers and whatnot. That place. So anyway, I find it very enjoyable, and it's fun. Yeah.
Great. Well, we appreciate having you help out, and yeah, it is fun. It's a good way to. We usually have them on Saturdays, but again, take a look at our website for ways to register and for either coaching or sign up to be a participant.
And sewing seems to be a real dominant theme. There's several sewing machines, and who's the employee that works here?
Eileen.
Yeah, so she's here. She's like really, really good, and there's other coaches that are really good at doing clothing repair. And in fact, I saw in the latest lifelong learning, was that Life? No, Mud is having a clinic coming up about beginning sewing.
Oh, that's right. And it'll be held here, right? Yeah, it'll be in this room.
I'm tempted to take it.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, thank you. We also have some instructional clinics that often happen in this room and partner with professionals in the community. We've had how to install tile, a couple of those, how to paint signs, sign painting. Professional sign painter came in and taught that course, multi-day course. And then we had an interior designer come in and kind of go through how to use items in our store to revamp your own space and talk about the whole design process and how, when it's appropriate to incorporate reused items and other times when you might not want to. So, and that was really fun. So those tend to be well attended and a good time. And then I think the thing I tend to be most excited about is our woodworking courses and our workshops. And we partner with Lifelong Learning Center. They're very gracious in that they do all of our advertising and registration for us. And we don't have to mess with that, so I can focus on planning and teaching and collaborating. We just hired a new workshop assistant named Taylor, and she's also a wonderful woodworker. So we have great staff and some really fun projects. Meg is one of our attendees, participants. Chronic, yeah. Is it okay? You come back.
Yeah, it's great. And you don't have to know anything.
Yeah.
If you come to a step that you can't do because you're not strong enough, there's somebody to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you screw up, there's somebody to peel you off the ceiling and show you how to fix this.
Yes, woodworking is a lot about fixing your mistakes and knowing how to do that and learning how to do that. So it's hard to have something come out completely perfect without having to repair a little thing. But here's a couple of examples. This was a laptop stand that we made, and a little box that has a sliding lid, so feel free to. And I have some more examples in the wood shop that I'd like to show y'all. We'll do a little tour at the end and question and answer of the wood shop space, which is a fun space where all this happens. Before we go any further, this is Paul. Paul and I share and others, we all share the wood shop, but Paul does the revamp work, such as these items, and you're working on faucets in there now, testing faucets. You went through a lot of paint last week.
Yes, a lot of things.
A lot of paint. And yeah, anything else?
Fans
Fans?
and canvases.
Yeah, smart canvases.
Yeah.
We have a good time. Paul's been here, 13 years?
Yeah.
veteran. So I look up to Paul and, yeah, show me what's going on around here. So you'll see his workspace when we go on that tour too. Let's see. Oh yeah, one more thing I'd like to mention is just our collaboration with other community organizations. We have schools, we've had homeschool groups, other nonprofits come to us and with interest in taking a workshop or having a field trip that comes here and building something. We've had a lot of different things come out of that. We've even taken a trip down to the library in Stevensville and brought workshops to them, but we're able and willing to collaborate with organizations and schools and people to do one-off workshops tailored to their needs or what their wants.
My organization, Opportunity Resources, came here yesterday.
Oh, that's right. I didn't realize. Yeah, that's right. How'd that go?
Wonderful. It's the third class we had. It's great. Everything's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mud's a part of it too, so it's just nice.
Yeah, and that's an additional thing because the ones I was mentioning before is one that typically we teach, but that's just a way that we can open up that space to be used by people like Opportunity Resource, which is wonderful. And sounds like you might do some more next year or something like that. So, yeah. Yeah. And then we have an open wood shop. Lastly, an open wood shop every Friday. Right now it's every Friday from 12:30 to 1. There's tool training available. Tool training is free, so if you want to learn how to use a miter saw, table saw, planer, joiner, all these tools that we use in the workshops, or you want to use on your own projects, you can come in and take those tool trainings. And you're welcome to just take tool trainings and that's it. It's great to have that knowledge. But if you want to create your own project or work on something from home, we also have a period of time every Friday, 3-hour chunk of time. You can sign up for a fee. You can sign up for and work on your own projects. So that's been something fairly new, maybe the last 6 months, and it seems to be working out well. So keep that in mind if you have a project you want to do. And I'm there, or Taylor's there. Somebody tends to be there that knows a little bit about woodworking and can help guide the process and find tools. And it's not a one-on-one instructional time, but you do have support during that time. And yeah, all this is on our website, so just check it out. Lots of good information.
Do you need registration before coming to the open
Yes.
wood shop time?
Yes. Under the education section of our website, you'll see the sign-up form.
Okay.
And more information about that. There's also scholarships available or sliding scale if that's helpful for anybody. Before we take our little tour, please feel free to grab something if you'd like. We'll come back here. You can have more lunch after. But any questions prior to our field trip? It's a short field trip.
What are the themes or the projects that you're doing on your workshops?
Yes. Early next year, we'll do another box class. Our next class is an end table, side table. Could be an end table, could be a side table next to your sofa. There'll be some opportunity for customizing that to fit your space. We have 5 attendees coming to that, and it's going to be a really fun one. That's kind of a next level class from what we have been doing. We've done some fine woodworking for sure, but this is like a more inclusive piece of furniture. So about half the people are coming back have been to other classes, and then the other half are brand new. And I don't know what their skill level is, maybe none. But we're able to take people through these classes with no skill or little skill or whatever skill level you have. We'll get you through. You'll walk away with a nice finished product.
Just bring the right attitude.
Right attitude. Yes. We like to be contemplative and calm and move through the process. Although we did get a little bit production based on the storage bench. We were a little bit short on time with that one.
It was like a 6-class project crammed into 5
Yeah. So
classes.
typically we have enough time, and I'm also learning. I've been here about a year and a half, so I'm learning how to base the amount of time it would take me and translate that to the amount of time it'll take 6 or 8 or 10 people.
Yeah.
And for the most part, we're pretty successful. We've opened up that Friday time. If we're off a little bit, we can stretch into that Friday if we need to. I think we did that with yours, and 1 or 2 other times. But with this little box class, we took 10 people through that and had plenty of time, this was the class I was most nervous about, because although it's just a little box, it incorporates so much joinery, like little spline joints, a sliding lid, milling all this lumber. So very complex for a little box. Yeah. And I use this at my desk. A little bit selfish on this one. But yeah. And these are all reclaimed wood that people donated. So, would you like to take a walk? Sure. All right. I'm going to slide through. Excuse me. Set these down. Did we all make it? All right. So, a little orientation on the shop. This is our shop. My office is up there, so I can look down on people and see what's going on. But we have the revamp, to start with Paul's work. Paul was working this morning on testing faucets there. And over on the sink, we have a situation set up that he can hook the faucets up and test if they're leaking or not, price them.
Yeah.
We have paint over in this corner. And any of the paint that's bad, which is this stack over here,
Yeah.
it gets mixed with sawdust so that it can be tossed into the landfill. All the hollow core doors over there become those smart canvases. The fan, you can't really see the fan set up, but there's a metal bar coming out here,
Yeah.
and this bracket sets up so Paul can hang the fan there and test the electricity and the light bulbs, and
Yeah.
very thoroughly goes through everything. Lots of work. You also work out in the store and yard.
Yeah.
You do everything.
How many gallons of paint do you think you tested in your 13 years? Well,
Yeah. A lot.
Those 2 quarts right there, I just pulled out of the mix so that we can use them in our workshops. Polyurethane. Yeah. So that's Paul's work. And then for open woodshop time, which I mentioned, there's the miter saw, is that saw, jointer, planer, couple drill presses in the back, lots of hand tools, sanders, router tables, workbenches, and that's all available for community use or for the lifelong learning workshops that we do. And it's pretty fun whenever we're all going in here and creating these projects. So I put out some samples. There's a lot more that we've built that are too big or just I didn't have samples of. This was the plan for the storage bench I was talking about a little earlier, and we did with the interns, we did another type of bench, but if you have an opportunity, you can look through some of the samples. These are mostly samples I created for the workshop. Like this was a trellis, and I had notes on here, and people could look at it for an example. Along with most of the classes, not all the classes, also will have a instruction sheet that we hand out that people can refer to. Because a lot of what I do in the workshops is kind of float around and make sure that people are comfortable with the next steps and know what they need to do, or just have questions. But if I'm not available, a lot of times they can refer to the instruction sheet and figure out that next step too. So it's a mix of instruction and kind of figuring out what's going on. And my hope is that people fall in love with woodworking and working with their hands and carpentry, and can take this home. And we have a few people that have been to like 10 or more classes and just really enjoy it. And some of those people have even become volunteers and help with the open wood shop or workshops. So I'm really excited about the program and how it grows and how it is growing, and how people collaborate, and it just kind of took on a life of its own, and it's a lot of fun. My background was largely in construction, project management, and all this real heavy stuff, and I had this small part of my career which was woodworking, and I look back and I'm like, I really enjoyed that. So when I found this position, it seemed like a good fit. I wanted to kind of step back from some of the other professional work I was doing and really lead a more mindful life was my goal. I want to be a little more mindful, and so this fits in really nicely. So feel free, if you want to look around, take a look at this, or ask me questions. I love questions. Do all that. Sure. The jointer, if you have a piece of rough wood like this, it's really good at doing two things. It's good at flattening one side by running it across the blade like this. So I'll unplug it. So there's a bunch of blades in here. See all those blades?
Oh, yeah.
And this in-feed table sits a little bit lower than the out-feed table. So when you slide a piece of wood, the blade's cut. The apex of the blade is exactly the same height as the out-feed table. So then if it was cutting, it would reference perfectly onto this, slicing off a thin layer of wood, creating a flat surface. So you can do that on the face or the edge. And when you do both of those, you create also a square side of the board. After that, when you have a flat side, you can go to the planer. Has blades like that, all cutting from the top. And so then you're sliding that flat surface in through this way and changing the thickness of your board, and it's remaining flat. Then you go to the table saw, change the width, and then you have a milled piece of wood to whatever dimension you want. So that's how you prep the wood. Use these two tools and the table saw. So, and then paired with the miter saw, if you have those full tool trainings, you can do an awful lot of woodworking or building. Those are really the powerhouse tools in here. Yeah, good question. An old version of a jointer looked like jointer planer were these, which we still use them, but we don't do as much work with them. More just kind of finish or fine tuning. They're really fun to use, though. I love them.
When you say it's for community use, is it like how does that work? Like that people can come in from the community of the outside workshops to use?
Yeah, that Friday space is open for just the community to come in and use this space. And we're talking about kind of reworking that a little bit. So if you just need a workspace, that'll be a lower fee than if you need to use all the power tools. It'll be two different fee levels. We haven't done that yet, but by the end of the year, we'll have kind of two tiers so that you can come in and do all the power tool work, or if you're just standing at a table, then you're just kind of paying for a little bit of space there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the idea, is just to have a little bit of support and work on something you want to build.
And you don't have to sign, I guess there's probably a liability form. that you
Yeah,
have to
that's
submit.
there is. We have a lot of forms.
Yeah.
And for that open wood shop, they're all on the website. So it's just an electronic form you go through, and all of that's included there. But yes, there's a liability. There's a lot of liability in here. And that's part of what we're teaching here is how to safely operate and work in this space, especially when we have a number of people trying to communicate and make sure that we're not in each other's space. These yellow boxes on the floor here are an example of that. So if somebody's operating the planer, everybody else should be out of that square. And yeah, so it's just little things like that to help keep us safe.
How do you choose projects or things like that you're going to have for workshops?
Yeah, there's a few different ways. Some of them I inherited from previous people that led previous workshops before I showed up here. Birdhouse, for example, that's been done for a long time, and Paul does those as well. This is the Mason Bee House. Then otherwise, I think about things that I'd like to build. Like, oh, what would be fun to build? What would be fun to teach? And also, what would provide a lot of different skills? So I like to think about each chunk of workshops is about a 2-month period that Lifelong Learning Center puts out. So in that chunk, I like to think about, an easy project, maybe a birdhouse or something like that, something very useful like a trellis, and then something with a lot of woodworking skill like this or the box, and just have a variety of things that people can come through. Also, I take feedback from participants and the volunteers and people I work with around here to see what they want to build and incorporate some of those too.
I noticed you're doing the birch box.
Yeah.
One of your training things that reminded me of seeing camping boxes that people build with like individual, like dividing things where you can slide in.
Oh, sure.
And stuff. I thought that'd be a cool project to try and do during one of your open.
And there's a good chance that project could be tweaked into this project, into what you want to do. So sometimes people want to get a little custom with their projects and will ask me about that. And if it's not going to take a whole bunch more time, we can do that. Sometimes people want to do something wildly different and they're like, no, that's not going to fit. But yeah, this upcoming class with the side table will be one that has some customization available, because I want somebody to have a side table that fits their space, not just, which in woodworking is like part of why you woodwork, is so you have this nice handmade thing and not just something that somebody decided to produce out of the cheapest material they could find to get the job done. That's ultimately going to end up back in the landfill. Once you get a taste for handmade furniture, you're ruined, because you see what the other furniture really is. So my house is full of handmade furniture, and I won't go for any. And some of it I bought, which is an investment. But it all lasts a lifetime, too. So, other questions?
Can you talk a little bit about some of the material sourcing that you do from donations and things like that?
Yes. So each day I ride my bike to work, and I come down the bike path, and I come in the back gate, and I do a little circle of the of the yard to see what's come in since the last time I was here, and that goes with your other question. Like, I'm seeing materials that could be a future project, so I'm like, oh, we should use that and make this. So that's another way that projects come about. If there's any cedar I store the cedar there, and that we do a lot of cedar projects in the spring and summer. And then I'm looking for hardwoods, and sometimes the store team will just bring hardwoods in. A lot of times they'll bring the hardwoods in here, and then I'll see what would be useful for a project and store that. And other times I see things that come in that are like bed frames or like just random pieces that were made out of a nice mahogany or walnut or cherry. This is cherry. And I'll pull those aside knowing that I can mill those later into a usable piece of wood. And it all gets stored there. I just cleaned it out. It was a real mess. So. And then after we're done, we don't just throw all the materials away. If it can be composted or burned, we put it in this little red can there, and then that goes out and either goes to Missoula compost, or people pick through it for their own projects or to burn. The requirement for that is that there's no paint or clear coat or anything like that on it. Not pressure treated. Doesn't have a bunch of tar. So just a good clean piece of wood, and try to keep it out of the landfill. So what we're about.
What has been one of the like hardest or from like participant learning, what has been something that you found people's expectations or thinking maybe they can't do something that you've seen surprised of folks or something there? Like someone who has never even heard what a miter saw is, but how does that process go for them and for you?
For the most part, I think people are able to get through their fears in this class. We find a way to to take it easy and make sure they're not embarrassed and get them through the process. The places I've seen people nervous, for the most part, the one place I've seen people most nervous is the table saw. It's a scary tool. We have a saw stop, so it has safety mechanisms to make sure that you keep your fingers, but there's a lot going on. The blade's sticking out of the table. Material's a little harder to control. So with that one, I find that people, once they're on the machine, are more comfortable with it. It looks a little scarier from a distance than it does actually operating it, in my opinion. But if a person's just not comfortable, then we'll make those cuts for them. We'll jump in and help out in that way. I think a lot of people see the sample and go, how are we ever going to do that? And then we go through step by step and lay out the process. And really the skills, there was a guy I used to work for, and he said, we can teach anybody how to put two 2x4s together, but we can't teach people how to be good people. So we get a lot of good people that show up here, and we can learn how to do that. Like the steps it takes to create any of these projects are not that complicated once you know what they are. It's just 5 or 6 things you have to do to create a square board, and we go through that. And then forever, you know how to create a square board. I'm trying to think which thing I'm most scared of here. Router table. I think the router table is the most dangerous, and it has a little blade that sticks out the top. And it can change things really quick. It can throw materials, and it's deceptive. It seems very safe, but it can.
Glad you didn't tell me that before I used it.
Well, no. We don't talk about that in class. I say, don't put your finger here. Whatever you do, don't put your finger here. But it's safe. Like
Pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah. We tried. But things can go wrong in here, like quick and drastically. What's that?
Tears have been shed.
Yeah, there's been injuries here. I've been injured here, so it is a possibility. In woodworking, there are a lot of people with fewer than 10 digits. You have 10?
No, you got all your digits?
I do. I've taken chunks of them. Just not the whole thing yet. And I really don't want to because I play guitar and I enjoy that. So. And I like typing with all my fingers. I don't like typing, but it's a little easier with all the fingers. Any of y'all think you might want to do some of this?
Yeah, I want to check out the projects for some too.
Okay, I'll get it out of the way. But feel free if you have questions to keep firing them at me. We had 2 donations almost back to back of exactly the same benches from 2 different people.
Oh, is that right?
And then I put wheels on them.
Yeah, that's great.
We have a new bandsaw that another person donated. Well, one of the same people that donated a bench. So, and this wine rack I made, this was probably here when you were here.
Yes.
This was the first bench that I tried to make. I mean, it works, but those are better.
Well, we had talked about doing a workshop to build a bench.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I'd love for these, like one of these to become a big bench. I don't know if you ever were in Frank's shop, but we had a huge workbench in there.
Oh, really?
Well, we have a couple baskets out there that are small pieces of hardwood, and also I'm happy to go through stuff in here with you if there's something, if we have it. Because a lot of this isn't really saved for anything other than it's a nice piece of wood, so yeah, I can help you with that.